I didn't even know what we were going to sign. And I said, we're not signing anything. And that's when the guy pounded his hand on the table. He says, you know what? We're going to take that license from you. We have that authority. We're going to revoke it.
I'm going to revoke it right now if you guys don't sign it. Either you guys walk away with the money or sign the paper, or you guys are going to walk away with nothing.
They have no heart. They don't care about ruining somebody's family, especially a minority.
My anxiety, sometimes I don't sleep, and it's emotional for me because I don't like my kids to see me like this, you know? And it's like, for me, it was something so good happening in my life, and then it's like a nightmare.
When voters legalized marijuana in 2020, some priority was given to marginalized communities to open and operate marijuana dispensaries. These are people who were harmed when marijuana was illegal. The program, though, hasn't quite worked out the way it was intended. And now lawmakers are investigating whether big operators used predatory tactics to buy out the social equity licensees.
It was heavily weighed to the insiders. The true social equity applicants didn't stand a chance.
How do you explain these things? Like, how do you make it make sense?
They're still trying to bury us, I guess you would say.
Think about that. You got muscled out as something and your investment, and if you take them to court, one case, the person that got the social equity license has to pay the guy that had the minority ownership over $1 million, bankrupting him. This is just flat out wrong.
Welcome to the Social Equity Ownership Program allocation. We will be using a random number generating software system to select 26 application numbers.
What we have here is an injustice that needs to be fixed. The way this social equity license thing is supposed to work is the people that apply for it are supposed to maintain the 51% ownership. But what we have here is a pattern of they find someone who's got to make the small investment to apply for the social equity license, and they make obviously an agreement with somebody to help fund them. But then when they win the license, they have to they get it into play. The person with 49% muscles them out, and they don't have that license. So they're technically the people that are supposed to have a social equity license. Don't get it, and the ones that do have the social equity license would not qualify for it in the first place.
The bill here is essentially trying to figure out whether or not the original winners in that lottery were scammed by the investors they partnered with. Some winners, like Rene Dominguez Mendoza and his wife, partnered with an investor to help cover the $4,000 application fee and the startup costs.
They had flyers in the mailbox, and we looked at it and said, own a dispensary at no cost to you. We will train you, we will teach you, and we will fund everything, and you will be 51% owner.
I had an incident where I went into a dispensary and I saw a flyer inside of the dispensary, and it was for a partnership. It was for the organization that I was volunteering with, doing partnerships with other organizations, and I had no knowledge of these partnerships. And when I inquired about it, I was told, oh, we're doing expungements, you're doing social equity, which I didn't really understand what that meant if we're working together doing this. But when we would perform our expungement clinics, I was just noticing different things, like if it was a person not of color, they were being taken into a separate room to do the expungement.
The measure would allow people who have been convicted for things that would become legal under the act, such as possessing these small quantities of marijuana or paraphernalia, to have these criminal records expunged. Why should these offenses be expunged moving forward?
Because they should never have happened in the first place. These laws in Arizona are archaic and outdated. Like I said, we're the only state in the country that treats a first-time conviction for personal possession of marijuana as a potential felony. 7 people a day in Phoenix are arrested for marijuana possession. And unfortunately, predominantly, it's people of color or people from lower income communities. This current state of marijuana laws in Arizona is targeting certain communities unfairly. It's time to change that. It's time to move forward in how we deal with justice in this state and align with other states across the country. We have the most draconian, most archaic marijuana laws in the books in the entire United States. And nobody argues that. The Arizona Republic itself endorsed this measure because of that very fact. And it's time to stop the unfair prosecution of certain people in our state.
All this is done by design. How does DHS not have a director? Since the licenses came out, they've had an acting director. They don't even have a director at DHS.
There's an option for these 26 additional licenses to be given to people from communities that are disproportionately impacted by the enforcement of previous marijuana laws.
Yeah.
What is the intent behind those licenses?
We want to make sure that the communities that have been most impacted by these horrible policies we've had in place for many years can actually participate in gaining economic development. This is going to create thousands of good paying jobs across our state. And like I said, it's going to generate hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue for the state, as well as local communities. So we want to make sure people in the communities that have been most impacted by previous and current marijuana laws in a negative manner can get in the door and participate in this and bring money and bring success to their own communities, because they deserve it more than anybody. They need to be made whole based on some of the previous negative and unfair impacts of current laws.
Improper photography of a minor, assault of a child, aggravated assault to cause serious bodily injury, so on and so forth. And this person has felony convictions in Texas, which DHS didn't pick up on, or they did pick up on it, didn't do anything. Bottom line is we have convicted felons who muscled out someone that has supposed to have a social equity license, pretty much robbing them of their opportunity to go in the marijuana business, whether you agree with the business or not.
Well, I would like to see this whole thing be investigated, because I don't feel that it has been investigated. As I said, for the past 2, almost 3 years that we've been speaking about it, is speaking against Department of Health Services and against the monopoly with the dispensary owners. This has been in all of the newspapers, it's been on all of the media. And for now, it's still to be going on and still nothing is being done. I don't feel like anybody's taking it serious. So it just makes me feel like these are all the players in it. Because how could you see the evidence or know what's going on and just, it's still going on. It's just still going on. People's licenses are still being taken from them right now, and nobody's doing anything. They have no support. Nobody's helping them. Nobody's doing anything.
We want to make sure that the communities that have been most impacted by these horrible policies we've had in place for many years can actually participate in gaining economic development. This is going to create thousands of good paying jobs across our state. And like I said, it's going to generate hundreds of millions of dollars in revenue for the state, as well as local communities. So we want to make sure people in the communities that have been most impacted by previous and current marijuana laws in a negative manner can get in the door and participate in this and bring money and bring success to their own communities, because they deserve it more than anybody. They need to be made whole.